What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give our takes on the Miami Dolphins. It is Monday, December 19th, 2022. It is Christmas week. I hope everybody is having a good holiday season so far. Can't wait for this weekend. Can't wait for Christmas. Get gifts, give gifts, and watch some football, man. Watch some Miami Dolphins football. I've kind of cooled down from Saturday night. I feel like I had an emotional reaction with how they lost that game and ways they could have won the game against Buffalo. And I'm questioning a lot, and I still am a little bit, if the Miami Dolphins are even going to make the playoffs. You have Stephen A. Smith going on First Take this morning and saying, with the way the Miami Dolphins are playing the way the Dolphins played against the Buffalo Bills, they could go in and beat anybody that they wanted to in the playoffs. Which honestly, that's very nice of Stephen A. Smith. I don't agree with him, but if they did beat the Buffalo Bills, then I would absolutely agree with him, because that could show that that the Dolphins can go into any cold weather game that they want to and win. So, but we do have a narrative with cold that I do want to talk about today. We do have a lot to talk about, man. Yesterday was one of the craziest NFL Sundays of the entire year. Luckily, after Week 15, going into Christmas Eve, because most of the games are on Saturday this week, going into Week 16, the Miami Dolphins are still in the playoff picture as the number 7 seed. We're going to talk about the AFC playoff picture. We're going to talk about Tua Tagovailoa in the cold, and we're going to talk about those officials from Saturday's game, because I'm telling you, and some shit I saw yesterday too was brutal. These the referees are deciding games, and it's got to stop, man. It's absolutely brutal how bad the referees are. And it's not only for the Miami Dolphins. If you watched last night's Washington Commanders New York Giants game, on the drive that Washington was going to try down and tie the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The 2 plays in a row, you know exactly what I'm talking about, man. So those are both basically the pinpoints of today's video. But I thank you guys for joining me. It is around 5:30 on Monday night. We got Monday Night Football tonight. Los Angeles Rams against the Green Bay Packers. Nothing really important to the AFC playoff picture. But the Miami Dolphins aren't playing the Green Bay Packers on Christmas Day. So we will get to watch, what the Packers do and all that stuff. I know they're playing a really weak 4-9 Rams team, but still, we get to watch the Packers on prime time right before they play the Miami Dolphins on Christmas Day. And we kind of have an advantage over the Green Bay Packers going into this game, because we played on Saturday. There was practice today. The Miami Dolphins practiced today, and they're getting ready for the Green Bay Packers starting today. They had a rest day yesterday. The Packers, on one hand, they have a game tonight, and they're on a short week, because mostly what teams do now is they're off the day after the game. So they're off tomorrow. Then they practice Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday walkthrough, more than likely. So we are preparing for the Packers on a full week schedule, while the Packers are preparing for us on a short week. Advantage Miami Dolphins. But we'll talk more about that game. Friday preview. Biggest game of the season. I don't care if this doesn't impact the playoff picture. this is the biggest game of the season coming up on Christmas Day against the Green Bay Packers. You want to save your season, you have to beat the Packers on Christmas Day. So, but we're going to talk about that on Friday. I didn't really feel like the Bills game was a must-win game, indicating that we don't have a shot for the AFC East, and we're more than likely going to be a wild card team anyway. But now it's time for desperation for the Miami Dolphins, which we're going to get into the playoff picture first. But if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of Miami Dolphins content coming up. This week against the Packers, next week the Patriots, and I might be doing a vlog on January 2nd. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided, but I am going to the Citrus Bowl down in Orlando, Florida, to go see the LSU Tigers against the Purdue Boilermakers. So I'm going to that game January 2nd, Camping World Stadium. Haven't decided if I'm vlogging yet. I will let you guys know. But, excuse me. I'll let you guys know. And be sure to go ahead and check out the post-game recap video that I did Saturday night for the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. I do apologize. The audio was not good at all for that video. Hopefully it is better this time around. I did mess around with it a little bit before I recorded this video, so hopefully everything is okay on my end. I do apologize for that, but if you would like to, go ahead and check out the post-game recap of the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills from Saturday when the Bills won by a field goal, 32-29. So, the AFC playoff picture after Week 15 stands like this. Right now, the Buffalo Bills are the number 1 seed at 11-3. They did not clinch the division this week. Basically, they're going to win the division, even though they haven't technically clinched yet. They're going to win the division. They have to beat the Chicago Bears this week, and they're going to win the division. So we might as well crown them division champs right now. The Buffalo Bills are the number 1 seed. The Kansas City Chiefs are the number 2 seed. They clinched the AFC West yesterday. The Bengals are the 3 seed at 10-4. And at the 4 seed, you got the Tennessee Titans at 7-7. And that AFC South division is really bad. And it's now up for grabs with the Jacksonville Jaguars beating the the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. Them beating the Cowboys was huge. And now it's a battle for the AFC South between the Titans and the Jaguars for the next 3 weeks. The wild card teams are the Ravens at 9-5, the Chargers at 8-6, and the Miami Dolphins at 8-6. The Chargers do own the tiebreaker over us. And sitting on the outside, you have the New England Patriots, who had the worst call of all time. I mean, literally, the stupidest play call of all time. Tied game, you're going into overtime, and you run a lateral. Jacoby Myers throws the football back to the most unathletic player on the field, Mac Jones. He gets stiff-armed to the ground by Chandler Jones, and the Patriots could have possibly blown away all their playoff chances. I'm not taking it away from them yet, but my goodness, that was a crucial loss for the Patriots yesterday. And then the New York Jets lost to the Detroit Lions thanks to their head coach's terrible clock management in the final 2 minutes of the game after the Detroit Lions took the lead 20-7. Robert Saleh costed the Jets that game. Zach Wilson did not play good, but he's not the reason they lost, in my opinion. Robert Saleh is the reason why the Jets lost yesterday to the Detroit Lions. So that is your AFC playoff picture right now. Scenarios for the Miami Dolphins to clinch the playoffs. They cannot clinch the playoffs this week. But, and this is crazy that we're talking about this, after a 3-game losing streak, a horrible road trip for the Miami Dolphins, your biggest test of the entire season, and you failed. But the Dolphins can clinch the playoffs. Believe it or not, right now they have a 61% chance to make the playoffs. That's not terrible. They could clinch the playoffs if the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Jets on Thursday night, the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Patriots on Saturday, and if the Miami Dolphins can beat the Packers on Christmas and beat the Patriots on New Year's Day, they're in the playoffs, and they can clinch a playoff berth before Week 18, which would honestly be huge because it would give the Dolphins an opportunity to rest their starters, which we could probably use. If we could clinch a playoff spot before that Jets game, that game probably is going to matter for seeding, but I wouldn't play Tua Tagovailoa the entire time. I really don't think, after yesterday and throughout the season, I really don't think it doesn't matter who we play in the first round. We're not going to get the 5th seed. I think that's going to be the Chargers. So they're going to have the luck of playing whoever wins the AFC South. So good for them. But we're either going to get the 6th or the 7th seed. We're either going to play the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, or the Cincinnati Bengals in the first round. And to me, if Miami makes the playoffs, I don't care who we play in the first round. I don't care. If you were to ask who I would prefer, I would probably say the Bills. I'm not going to lie. As crazy as that sounds, the 2 games we played against the Bills this season, the Bills outscored the Dolphins 50. The Bills outscored the Dolphins 51-50, and both games came down to the final play. So, I mean, I don't care who we play in the first round. I don't think the Dolphins are going to make it out of the first round. It's upsetting to say, but it's just the truth of the reality. But if I were to pick a team, if I had the option of the Bills, Chiefs, or Bengals, I'm taking the Bills because we've shown that we can compete with the Bills in Buffalo. So, but right now the Dolphins have a 61% chance to make the playoffs, and the only way, basically, they're not making the playoffs is if we go 9-8 and the Jets go 9-8 and they end up beating us. They have the tiebreaker, so they would get in the playoffs over us. Or if we just full-on collapse and we lose the final 3 games of the season. I mean, if that happens, my goodness. All hell is going to break loose in the offseason. Josh Boyer, even if we make the playoffs, Josh Boyer's gone. He's got to go at the end of the season. But if we go 0-3 to end the season and don't make the playoffs, all hell is going to break loose in this organization. And it's not going to be pretty. And it's not going to be pretty on social media either. So, but after yesterday, I did calm myself down after Saturday night and seeing what happened yesterday with the Jets and Patriots. The Patriots have the hardest schedule remaining in the NFL. They play Cincinnati, us, and the Buffalo Bills. That is the hardest schedule in the NFL to remain. That's extremely difficult. The Jets, they kind of have a hard schedule too. The Jets play Jacksonville, who's red hot, and they're coming off a win against the Dallas Cowboys. They're playing Seattle, which is probably the weaker of their 3 games, and then they play the Miami Dolphins. And which I see Jets fans online saying, "Oh, we're going to go 3-0. We're going to beat Jacksonville. The Seahawks suck, and we've already beaten the Dolphins this season." However, they beat the Dolphins with Skylar Thompson at quarterback. So, pat on the back. You beat You beat our 3rd-string quarterback. Good job. But that's how the playoff picture goes. Again, the Miami Dolphins have a 61% chance of clinching the playoffs right now, but they have an opportunity to clinch a playoff berth on New Year's Day against the Patriots. If we beat the Packers, if the things I said happen, if the Jaguars beat the Jets, if the Bengals beat the Patriots, and we beat the Packers, we're set up to, if we beat the Patriots on New Year's Day, we're in the playoffs. So, huge final 3 games. It's on. Now, it's on. The final 3 games of the season. This is a 3-game season now for the Miami Dolphins. It's getting to the playoffs. Packers, Patriots, Jets. Got to take care of business. You have got to take care of business. So, we'll see. See what happens. Let's talk about Tua for a little bit, because I feel like I was focused a lot on the negatives on Saturday night with our defense and Mike McDaniel's play calling on 3rd and short. I was so bothered by that I just didn't focus on the positive of the game. If there was one positive to take out of the Buffalo Bills game from Saturday night, it's that these people love to create narratives against Tua Tagovailoa. And shit, they're still trying their hardest to create a narrative against Tua that Tua sucks in cold weather. It snowed at the end of the game. The Dolphins had 1 drive. Oh, but Tua can't play in the snow. It's never just, wow, he impressed me. Wow, he did show me he can play in the cold. Wow, he went back and forth with Josh Allen in Buffalo. No, they continue to drive their own stupid narratives that fit their agenda. But the fact of the matter is, this whole narrative that Tua Tagovailoa can't play in cold weather is done. Because he showed you he can. He showed you he can Saturday night. And he did good enough to win you that game. And he's back to leading the NFL in passer rating. And I thought he played well against the Buffalo Bills. And there's one positive thing to take out of this game. It's that my quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, showed me that he can go on the road in the playoffs and compete. And that's what he showed Saturday night. And more than likely, we're going to have to go to, like I said earlier, we're either going to be going to Buffalo, Kansas City, or Cincinnati. And Lord knows it's going to be freezing during those games. So it was good that we saw a game like this from Tua in the cold, because if he went out there and he shit the bed, you would never hear the end of it. You would never hear the end of it if Tua went out there and he shit the bed this week against the Bills. But he played great. He didn't play great. He played well. 234 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, well over 100 passer rating. Made some really nice throws. Wide receivers were dropping touchdowns back to back. I thought the Tyreek Hill touchdown got tipped. He dropped it. Tyreek Hill dropped the ball. Trent Sherfield dropped an easy touchdown. And there's people complaining online saying that that's a bad throw by Tua. If he had thrown it up to his chest, there was defenders surrounding him. Trent Sherfield would have got murdered on that play. So throwing it low to where Trent Sherfield can go dive and get it, it was the perfect throw, and Trent Sherfield dropped it. Trent Sherfield just dropped the ball. And if we didn't have either of them drop touchdowns, if we got 7 instead of 3 when it was 26-21, we would have beaten the Bills Saturday night. We would have beaten the Bills if those things happened, but it didn't happen. Couldn't capitalize, and we lost, but I just wanted to shut that down. This whole narrative that Tua is bad in the cold is over, because he showed you he can play in cold weather on the road, and he's going to have to in January, because more than likely, if the Dolphins, I'll say it again, more than likely, if the Dolphins make the playoffs, they're going to have to go to Buffalo, Kansas City, or Cincinnati, or Baltimore. I don't think Baltimore's going to win the division. I think Cincinnati's the front runner to win the AFC North. But regardless, they're going to go into a place where it's going to be freezing, and he's going to have to ball out. So, I just wanted to talk about that. And then the final thing, and then I'll get out of here. The refs. The refs, man. They're brutal. I'm going to give... I was so happy when the Patriots lost yesterday. That's stupidest call I've ever seen, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. If I'm being true to myself, that would have never happened if they called Derek Carr's touchdown pass to Keelan Cole a touchdown. Because from what I see, his right foot's out of bounds. I'm not going to show it because I don't want to, I'm afraid of getting copyrighted, but I'm sorry. His left foot is clearly out of bounds. Not clearly, but it looks to be out of bounds. And they ruled it a touchdown. And I'm going to give the Patriots the benefit of the doubt. That was not a touchdown. Okay? That was not a touchdown. And who knows what would have happened if that was not called a touchdown. More than likely, the Patriots would have won, and they would have been tied with us. Then they would have been in the 7th seed, and we wouldn't. So at the end of the day, I'm thankful the Patriots lost, but that was not a touchdown by Keelan Cole. And then just the calls against us on Saturday night. One thing I noticed, the 3rd and 6 play to Isaiah McKenzie, when you were blitzing Josh Allen, on the film breakdown, it shows different types of view. If you see the view where the camera is to the back of the quarterback, the back to the field where the play's going on, you see the official on the left side. Kader Kohu hasn't even touched Isaiah McKenzie yet, and the referee is going to his right pocket, ready to throw the flag. So regardless of what happened, we were getting flagged regardless. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. And I talked about this Saturday night. You know, one reason I was very frustrated with that first half was we were getting called for pass interferences, which I wasn't even mad that we got called for it because they were legit pass interference. But my God, they were doing the same thing. Tre'Davious White had a handful of Tyreek Hill, both arms over his body, and he wasn't called for pass interference. If you're going to call it for the Dolphins, you call it for them too. That's bias. That's bullshit. And let me see. I want to find this because you can see. I saw it on Twitter. I'm like, oh boy, I gotta talk about that because the official is going for the flag. He's reaching into his pocket for the flag. Yeah, the ball was in the air. Kato Kohu, I was just looking to make sure. The ball was in the air. Kato Kohu wasn't even touching Isaiah McKenzie, and the official already has his hand on the flag. So no matter what happened, we were getting flagged on. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. And I'm telling you right now, the NFL, I've been saying it for years. The NFL has something against the Miami Dolphins. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Stephen Ross with the tampering in the offseason, but these people don't like the Dolphins. And I'm telling you right now, if we're in the playoffs and it's a close game against Patrick Mahomes, you think the NFL would rather see us advance to the divisional round, or you think they would rather see Patrick Mahomes in the divisional round against Joe Burrow or Josh Allen? No, they're going to be super biased against us in the playoffs, and it's going to piss me off a hell lot. And it's oh man. And then last night, Sunday Night Football. This isn't even fair. Terry McLaurin is checking with the official on the sideline. He's like, "Am I good? Am I good?" The official's like, "Yep, you're good." And he goes into his pocket to pull out the flag. The play goes, and he throws the flag. And Terry McLaurin's like, "Wait, you told me that I was good," and he got called for illegal formation. Like, it's unbelievable how horrible the officiating is. This week alone, it cost the teams games. Now, it did help the Miami Dolphins that the Patriots lost. Yes, big time. But the officials had a hand in the Patriots losing. The officials had a hand in the Miami Dolphins losing. I'm not saying these teams lost because of the refs. That's just I'm not a loser like that. I don't blame games on referees unless it's an absolutely ridiculous call that's so obvious that we didn't do and we get called for it, then it's on the refs. But we didn't lose because of the referees. The Patriots didn't lose because of the referees. The Washington Commanders didn't lose because of the referees. And then pass interference that should have been called, that wasn't called against the Giants because the dude was literally had arms wrapped around Curtis Samuel and didn't give him a chance to catch the ball. Curtis Samuel was not going to catch that ball. And Chris Collinsworth on the broadcast basically said, that's pass interference. That should have been called pass interference. But it wasn't, and the Giants won. Granted, the Giants played a better game, but that's a horrible call against the Commanders, man. And I just wanted to talk about that because it's just so bothering. It's so bothering how bad. This is the worst year of officiating I've ever seen. NBA is bad too. There's bad calls in college football. Oh, man. I don't know. I'm tired, but I'm out of here. I'm going to upload this. I'm going to relax, get ready for Monday Night Football. So I'm out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel. Comment down below your thoughts on all of this playoff picture, Tua Tagovailoa, the officials, all that. Leave it down below. Hit the like button if you liked what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok at Colin_Joseph. I'm out of here. Guys, have a great night. I will not be here. I will not be here for the AEW Dynamite review Wednesday. Like I said on my live stream, if you didn't hear, unfortunately my grandmother passed away this past week. So I have a funeral on Wednesday. I won't even be able to watch Dynamite. So no AEW review on Wednesday. But if you don't hear from me, the next video will be Friday. If not, then I'll see you then. But have a good one. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy. Fins up. I'm out. Peace.